Hello my bookish besties. Today I am doing my mid-year freakout tag as well as my mid-year check-in stats just to see where I'm at with my reading for this year, how I'm tracking, where the trends are sort of heading and all those fun things. So I'm going to grab my computer that has all the info and let's firstly go through the statistics. Now I need my coffee. That's better. Now, I'm going to preface this by, I don't follow a lot of this to, analyze my reading. I just purely want to have, okay, that's really hot. I'm getting distracted by how hot this is. Ow, ow, ow. Where's my coaster? Okay, I can't actually hold that in my hands. Okay, as I was saying, so I don't track these statistics to analyse my reading. It's just purely for some fun info. I'm not forcing myself to read any differently because of these statistics or anything like that. So, yeah, it's purely for the fun, just to see where everything's at. So far this year I have read 400, oh yes, I wish. I have read 48 books. It is currently the 20th of June, so we're not quite halfway through the year. According to Storygraph challenges, I am one book ahead of schedule. So good news for that. So I should, if I keep this momentum going, finish my challenge of 100 books this year. So that's exciting. Now, of this, it equals 16,007 pages. However, I'm not sure if that is purely from the books that I've physically and digitally read, or if that includes the hours of the audiobooks. I don't know how Storygraph tracks it, so I'm unsure about that one. And then I have listened to 85.37 hours of audiobooks, but that doesn't include the books that I've immersively read because I put them under digital or physical when I list them as which book I'm like. When you choose the edition of book in Storygraph, I will choose the digital or the physical versions rather than the audiobooks when I'm immersively reading them. So that's the preface. Okay, let's get into the breakdowns. So let's start off with audience. So far this year I have read one middle grade book. I've read 14 young adult books, 25 new adult books, and 8 adult books. So for me, anything where the protagonist is 18 to 13-ish, they're young adult books. Anything from 18 to about 30 is a new adult, and if it's not specified or is older than that, they're adult books. So it's purely looking at the audience who's reading these books, not if it's smut, it's automatically a new adult book as opposed to an adult book or things like that. And there are some young adult books that are tagged young adult that are not young adult because the characters in them are over 18. They're over the age of consent. Anyway, I'm not going down that bandwagon today. Let's get into the format that I've been reading them. So I have read 22 physical books. I've immersively read 5 books. That's listening to the audio and at the same time reading either a physical or a digital copy of it. I don't specify between. And then I've also read 14 digital books and I've listened to 7 audiobooks. So, awesome. Here's where I have an issue. Firstly, standalones. I've read 10 standalone books. That's great. No issues there. I've started 28 series this year alone. Yeah. I've only continued on with 10. And some of those have more than 4 books in those series. So even though I've continued on, I don't think there is a single series that I've read the 3rd book in a series. I definitely haven't finished any series this year so far, but I think it's only out of those 10, they've all been the 2nd in the series. So I've got some work to do. And I have so many more that I plan on starting too. It's not even, yeah, I need to work on that. That is so bad. At least have a couple on the finished series list. I do have some that are close. I do have a couple that I've only got 1 more book left, so I do just need to read that last one, and then I can clear off that series. And then there are a few where I'm currently up to date, because only the first 2 have been released, like Quicksilver, Baby Dragon Cafe, what else? When the Moon Hatched, those sorts of books. Only the first one's been released, so those ones aren't too bad, but yeah, anyway. Okay, and then on to the exciting bit, the star ratings. So I'm very happy with my reading so far this year. I have enjoyed, for the most part, all of the books that I've read. They haven't been horrible books, and to me, if you're getting a 3-star, it's still a decent book. I still enjoyed it, because it's more than half. If I don't enjoy the book, I'm not going to give you half the amount of stars. Yeah. Does that make sense? Anything more than a 2.5, I at least enjoyed. But anyway, so I haven't had anything that's 2.5 and under, which is pretty good. And I've only had 1 3-star read. I have had 6 3.5-star reads, 14 3-star reads, 8 4.5-star reads, and 10 5-star reads. So I am very happy with 10 out of 48 being 5 stars. I have enjoyed some great books so far this year, and I cannot wait to keep that going. I am currently in the middle of another one that I'm really loving, so I'm just hoping that that trend continues. Okay, that's all the breakdowns that I'm going to do, so we're going to get into the tag questions. So these are just the ones that I found online. I'm sure there's multiple versions of this tag out there with, if not the same, very similar vibe questions, but these are just the ones that I chose. I did try to limit doubling up, but then there was some questions that I had to double up. So anyway, question number one. Question number 1. Best book you've read so far? Easy. Diabound by Sable Sorensen. I've just finished this book, so that's also probably why it's so fresh in my mind. But I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's so worth the hype. If you were a fan of Fourth Wing, this is for you. It's a Fourth Wing version of Direwolves, but there's just more going on with it, and it's not as so I don't know. Fourth Wing got very repetitive, but this is there's new stuff happening. It's not quite so instant lovey and everything like that. And there's twists and turns, and I just had a great time reading it. I highly, highly recommend it. Next question is best sequel. For this, I'm not choosing my highest rated sequel. My highest rated sequel was A Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. I rated that, I think, a 4.5-star read. But I'm going with the best sequel in a great series, because my reasoning for this is Kingdom of the Cursed. I really enjoyed Kingdom of the Wicked. I really enjoyed Kingdom of the Curse, but they felt like 2 different storylines. It was the same characters, but they were no longer sort of following the same thing. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, it felt like Kingdom of the Curse was a better book and a better story, so I don't know. As a whole, the series isn't my favourite series. That's not really describing what I want to say, but anyway, I'm going with this choice. And that is Nightbane by Alex Astor. I'm thoroughly enjoying this series. I'm loving it. It's such an easy read, and I really enjoyed getting to know the characters a lot more and seeing where they all went, and getting to explore the world a lot more too. I really enjoyed that. So I cannot wait to read Skyshade, yeah, the third and final book in the series, so then I can finish the series. My favourite reread, of course, is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I am making my way through this series this year, and that's just a classic for me. It brings me all kinds of feelings and nostalgia and everything, so I love rereading that book, and yeah, that's my favourite for this year. Question number 4 is a genre that you've been loving, and what can I say? I'm in my romantasy era. It's just the best blend of fantasy and romance, all the things that I do love on their own, and just mashing them together. I do think there needs to be some discussions with publishers and marketing about what they're marketing as romantasy, because things are getting over marketed as romantasy just to jump on the bandwagon, when really they're a fantasy with romantic elements, or they're a romance with fantasy elements, and that is completely different to a romantasy where it is fully both of those things combined together. And that just leads to disappointment, and I don't know why publishers want to have it, like, you don't want to have the chance of people being disappointed by misleading marketing. So yeah, I wish things weren't so overly marketed as romantasy when they're not. Okay, up next is question number 5, a new release that you haven't read to but want to, and that is The Night of the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I still need to read The Shepherd King duology, and that's a part of why I haven't read this, because I've got a feeling that they're set in the same world, so I want to read those 2 books before I get to this one. But that is definitely on my to-read list, like all 3 of them, for the rest of the year, so I will definitely get there. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I've got a couple. One is definitely Arcana Academy by Elsie Kova, that comes out next month in July. It looks amazing. I really like the synopsis. I can't remember what it was exactly about, and I don't really want to go back and refresh my mind because it's coming out so soon. I just want to be able to go into it nice and fresh. But it looks like it's right up my alley, dark academia sort of vibes and everything, so looking forward to that one. Another one that's coming out in July is A Forbidden Alchemy by Stacey McEwen. I think that's how you pronounce that. Again, not too sure what it's about, but it seems like it's got that dark academia vibes to it as well, so I don't know if that's actually the case, but let's hope that it is up my alley. And then one that is due in September, I believe, is the next book in the Baby Dragon series, so The Baby Dragon Bakery by A.T. Qureshi. I'm going to mispronounce that every time I talk about their books, but I really enjoyed the Baby Dragon Cafe, and I can't wait to see what else happens in this world of little dragons running around causing mischief while their owners are having some contemporary romances. Yeah, that's one that is of that style of it's a romance with fantasy elements. That's what I'm referring to when I think of that. Next question is the biggest disappointment of the year so far, and for that, unfortunately, is The Last of August by Brittany Cavallero. I loved A Study in Charlotte, and I loved the Sherlock Holmes vibes and everything that those characters gave me, and as well as having their own sort of plots. This book I did not care about. I could not get into it. I was listening to it on audiobook. I tried to pick it up physically, but it just lost that spark of there's a mystery and let's go solve it. Like, there was still a mystery, but I didn't care about it. I did, however, enjoy the development of their relationship, and that is what saved it becoming like making it a 3-star. Otherwise it probably would have been more like a 2-star. Yeah, the development in their relationship was it. I also don't know if it's because this is just a younger YA and I'm just very much out of that age demographic. I don't know, but it was a disappointment. I am still going to continue on with the series because I'm a completionist, but there's only one more to go, so I just want to see how it wraps up. Next question is biggest surprise, and for this is going to Beartown by Frederick, was it Backman? I love this book, but it's very hard to say that I love this book because it was a gut-wrenching, horrible book. It's going to come up again in another question. So question number 12 is a book that made you cry, and for that I'm choosing this book as well because it was just so emotional, and everything that happened, and then going through all the tragic things and seeing all the different characters and how they were dealing with the different things going in their lives. It's a multiple person point, like it's a multiple POV, so you're seeing different storylines all happening, and you know, the masks that people are wearing to try and cover up what's happening in their personal life, and it was very real. Okay, what was I saying? Okay, Beartown. So it was just a very real book, and you could see how people got, well, so all but one of them, you could see how they got to the point in their lives that they got to, and why they were dealing with things the way they were. It was very emotional. I distinctly remember I was reading it on sprints, and I had to stop the sprints because I couldn't finish the book on, like, with people watching me, because after that I just started bawling, crying. So it's definitely a book that stuck with me. It does come up saying that it's in a series. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know where it would go from there, but I'm definitely keen on reading more from Frederick Backman. I thought the writing was amazing, so looking forward to reading more from him. Question number 9 is favourite new author. Now, I will preface that all of these, I've only read one of their books so far, so I'm hesitant to say that they're a favourite author, but they're definitely trending in that direction. So we've got Carissa Broadbent. The Serpent and the Wings of the Night was a great book. I loved it. Cannot wait to continue on with that series. Kaylee Smith, Phantasma. Oh, I had so much fun reading that book. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait to read Electra. Enchantra, not Electra. Enchantra. Yes, I plan on reading that very soon. It is sitting over there waiting to be read. And who else do I have? Kristen Cicerelli. Again, I loved, what was the first book? The Crimson Moth. Really enjoyed that book. Looking forward to, I feel like these are just all need to be added to the question of books I haven't read yet. I haven't read Rebel Witch yet, so I need to get onto that. Davini Perry, I think that's how you pronounce it. I loved Shooter Sparrows. So good. So good. Again, Sable Sorensen. Loved Diebound. Cannot wait for the next book. So sad that it got moved to next year rather than being released in a couple of months' time. But that's what happens when traditional publishers pick up books. So hopefully I can have copies soon. And then lastly is Caroline Peckman and Susan Valenti, the Twisted Sisters. I loved Zodiac #1. I cannot wait to keep reading that series. It was just so fun. Like, the characters. I will say I do need a little roadmap of who's who so I can keep up, but I'm sure as I keep reading that series I will get to know them all. But yeah, they're some of my top authors at the moment. Again, I've only read one of each of them, so whether or not they're going to stay at the top is to be determined, but so far. Question number 10, newest fictional crush. Probably because it is so, like, stuck in my mind because it's a recent read, is Stark from Diabound. Just that, yeah, just standing there watching and like having to watch from the sidelines and then having those moments of just like teasing. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Even, I haven't finished it yet, so I was reluctant to put it on my list, but now because I mentioned Stark, I'm also loving Cross from Silver Elite and just the banter that he brings into it. So I'm not too far into that book yet, but I will finish it by the end of the mid-year, so we're gonna say it. And then lastly, just because super fun and cute, was Sparky from Baby Dragon Cafe. He was just a super cute, fun dragon, and he brought them together, so gotta love Sparky. He was just so sweet. Oh, Sparky wasn't under my crush. But from crush, from this series, is Aiden. Because Aiden was super sweet. He wasn't a shadow daddy or anything like that. He was just a sweet guy that wanted to look after Saphira and wanted to make sure that she was okay. He's honestly what I look for in a boyfriend. So, good on him. Okay, newest favourite characters. That's where I want to mention Sparky, because love Sparky. Other characters that I did also really enjoy is I enjoyed reading Araria? No. Araria? I don't know. From Serpent and Wings of Night. I just enjoyed her as a character. I'm sure there are others that I'm forgetting, like... Yeah. I'm really liking... Oh, what's the main female in... Why am I forgetting the book that I'm currently reading? Like, I should not be forgetting this book. I'm also really loving reading Ren Darlington in Silver Elite. I think she's a badass and she's just witty. I love reading. I'm having such a fun time with the book. So, yeah. Praise there. Okay. So we've already covered question number 12, which was book that made you cry. And then number 13 is book that made you happy. And for that is Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This was just such a fun read. I read it in one day. It was like a morning sprint session and I just flew through the entire book. It was a cozy contemporary romance, just great time. And I have been back to Dream Harbour. Wasn't as thrilled with the second book, but I want to continue on with all the books and see where it goes and meet all the different characters. Number 14 is Most Beautiful Book You've Received or Bought. For this, I'm going to go with Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. This book also crushes my heart because when it was picked up for traditional publishing, they changed the covers and it's no longer this beautiful face with the running Quicksilver. It's just text. And I don't like it. So I don't think I will be purchasing the second book, at least not until some other editions come out of it. But I'm just so shattered that I'm gonna have an odd set. I hate it when that happens. Like, I get, especially going from self-published or indie published to traditional publishing, I kind of get why things happen. It's just frustrating. Like, if a book's already sold so much, just stick with that design. I'm sure it wouldn't have been too hard to find someone that could match this design. Okay, on to number 15, books that you need to read by the end of the year. Now, all of them? I got so many for this list. It was a hard time narrowing it down, but I narrowed it down to 4. So I've got Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I've heard so many people talk about this book saying that it's amazing, so I need to read it. I also really need to read Blood and Steel by Helen Shore. Again, heard so much about it. The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnson. I do have a copy of this, I just need to get around to it. And then House of Bane and Blood by Alexis L. Menard. Again, it's been around on Book Talk and BookTube. Now I've got the hiccups, so I just need to get to it. And 2 of those, at least, are on KU, so there's no excuses. Okay, and then final question is favourite book community members. And for this, there are so many people that I love watching and everything, so this is just a very small list of them. But I am having a lot of fun in Bree from Four Paws and a Books Patreon group, and doing sprints with them, and loving doing the Amazing Readathon challenge, which is on at the moment. So just having fun watching all those videos. So I really enjoy watching Mel from Melanor Reads, her videos and her TBRs and everything like that. And again, just doing sprints and everything. And then Caty from I'd Rather Be Reading, who does a lot of long ass sprints. And yeah, that's just, I aspire to be like them and build my channels to be like theirs. So they're who I'm looking up to at the moment. Yeah. Anyway, that is it for this video. Put a comment down below of your favourite book of the year so far. And if you don't want to write anything, put a book emoji down so that I know you are here. If you want to chat with me further, you can find me on Instagram and Storygraph. All those links are down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye.